one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll officially open the meeting at 6 o'clock. If you could please join me in a moment of silence for men and women in uniform. Thank you. Any adjustments to the agenda?
I have an adjustment to item 6, consent items, the RFA that does their annual walk the Beth Land, and the permit and
Okay. Walk the Beth Land.
And also on here is based on what we discussed in the workshop, is vote to agree to put into this NPI grant.
Where do you want to stick it?
Under new business.
I'm sorry?
And, well, you could, old business or new business, either one,
Okay, we'll do it under old business.
both. And then if you wanted to take any action on the contract that we just discussed, for an agent.
Okay. Okay, anything else? Review?
Did you want to add that correspondence for the hospital?
Yeah, I did. That's under town manager
It's under,
update.
hang on 1 second, I added
Want
it.
to do it under correspondence?
Yeah, I put it under 7 department.
It is in 7, correct?
Yep.
It is in 7, correct? Okay. Just remind me when we get there. What's it?
I will.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, approve the minutes of the meeting on November 5th, please. I need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve the meeting minutes for November 5th, 2018, regular meeting with any corrections or additions.
Second.
Any corrections or additions? Comments? All in favor? To vote. Public to speak on the non-agenda items. Hi, everyone. Welcome. No hands. Thank you. I hope you all said thank you to a veteran this last week. It's important. Boards and committees, no approved minutes.
We haven't had any meetings to.
Perfect.
Additional minutes.
Thank you. Consent items, disbursement warrants, AP warrants, etc. Let's keep going on those.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve AP warrant number 17 for an amount of $234,469.35.
Second.
Donnie and Cindy. Questions, comments? All in favor? Thank you. It's a vote. Vendor license, Snowdio for Rangeley Lake Snowmobile Club. I need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the application for vendor's license for the Rangeley Lake Snowmobile Club.
Second.
Cindy and Dawn, any comments? Anything you want to tell us about, Johnny? We're all set, ready to go?
We're getting there.
We need snow.
We're climbing uphill, but we're working on it.
Making some changes this year. You want to tell us about it?
The biggest change is we are discontinuing the radar runs on Haley Pond for at least this season. The amount of work, last year we had also brought in another club that handled it for us, but the amount of work that we have with our volunteer base for what we have to do, it doesn't work. In addition, with the way it rotated on the calendar, Snowdio is actually now, this year, is the weekend before pond hockey starts. So it would be a lot to ask of pond hockey to try and fix what's left on that ice within 3 or 4 days. So we're looking at doing that event either at a different venue or at a different date, which Tyler's working on. And then besides that, everything looks like it's fallen in place. We have, things look like it's gonna be a phenomenal winter. We have more business sponsors than we have had ever, at a larger participation rate. And then a lot of the Snowdio sponsors, this is the first time, I think, since I've been on the board, where we actually have companies approaching us to be involved. We have a couple of different companies literally in a somewhat of a bidding war on who's gonna be involved with us. So that was pretty refreshing, shows see what kind of exposure we're getting up here when they wanna be with us.
Wonderful. Personal opinion, you guys do a fabulous job.
Thank you.
Fabulous job. Comments? Anybody? All in favor of the bidding? Everybody's approved. Thank you. Rangeley Health and Wellness Summer Concert. I gotta tell you, I know who sent you up here with this right off the bat. She's also got her Christmas cards out 3 weeks ago.
And put up our decorations 3 weeks ago too.
Okay, I need a motion.
So this first one is, I'll make a motion to approve the application for a vendor's license for Rangeley Health and Wellness for all town festivals, tentatively Farmers Market, and on their property at 25 Dallas Hill Road.
Second.
We need to know anything, Kurt? We all set? Everybody all set? All in favor? Thank you. Event permits. Rangeley Snowmobile Club, Rock Maple Race Event.
Make, what's that, who's going? I make a motion to accept and approve the event permit application for the Rock Maple Race event to be held on 1/26/2019 from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Second.
Questions? All in favor? Moving right along. Snowdio Sled Parade.
I make a motion to approve the event permit application for the Snowdio Sled Parade to be on January 26, 2019. Starts at 5:30 p.m., no later than 7 p.m.
Second.
Do I have to say where the road is?
Questions, comments? All in favor? Would you like to, since it's Winnapalooza, do a little sing-song on that one? I like the way you do that. Rangeley Lake Skating Club Chamber, Winnapalooza. I need a motion.
So moved.
Girl.
Second.
Yes.
That needs to be pending the certificate of liability. They haven't turned that in yet.
Right there on the top.
You're right.
Amend it.
Amend it.
Second.
Pending liability. You say you second?
Yep.
Okay, we're good?
Yep.
Questions, anybody? All in favor? All opposed, all approved.
She's wrote it in the upper right-hand corner.
Do you want the dates?
Rangeley Health and Wellness Summer Concert, event permit. I need a motion.
We gotta get to it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the event permit application for Rangeley Health and Wellness for the annual summer benefit concert scheduled for July 27th, 2019.
Second.
That's also pending, correct? You got a couple of things in there that aren't filled out.
Yeah, they haven't had time to do the certificate of liability. Yes.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Any reveal on who it is? You never tell us. You always come.
We'll hold it.
Can I tell
Your
them?
application.
Can I tell them?
I'd say,
Okay. I'm with that. That's a liquor license, health and wellness, summer concert.
I'll make a motion to approve the application for a license for incorporated civic organization for the Rangeley Region Health and Wellness Partnership to serve alcohol, I'm trying to, on 7/27/2019 from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Beer and wine, correct? Yes, it's beer and wine.
Second.
Any comments? Questions? All set? All approved? All in favor? Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys do a fabulous job. Downtown Revitalization Reserve, Wright Pierce.
RFA.
What's that?
RFA.
RFA. Oh,
Remember we added?
yeah, excuse me. Well, wait a minute, that's Walk to Bethlehem? I had it last, but go ahead.
Oh, I had it with the event permit.
summer concert. RFA is last, can I just get,
Yeah.
thank you.
What is an event?
Downtown revitalization, Wright Pierce Reserve, $1,776.87. May I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to write a check for the bill that we're looking at for $1,776.86 for Wright Pierce.
87.
87, sorry.
Second.
Questions regarding this bill? All in favor? No opposed. Walk to Bethlehem permit, RFA. Go ahead, Charlie.
I make a motion to approve the event permit application for the RFA for the Walk to Bethlehem on December 9th, 2018. It start at 5:30, ends at 6:30, pending fire chief to sign off.
Whoop. Okay, you got a second? Don needs a second. What do we need the fire chief to sign off on this for?
The fire truck is in that. They block off all the roads, fire, police go.
Yeah.
He
Alrighty,
needs to approve that his
They
staff.
closed the road down.
They shut down Main Street.
thank you. I've walked in it a lot of years, I know. Okay, thank you. All in favor? You can't say no to Santa and the walk to Bethlehem. Thank you. All in favor? Okay, correspondence, please. We have a letter here from dated November 16, 2018. Yeah, okay, here we go. We are writing to let you know that for in a few months, our parent company, Maine Health, will be completing an internal reorganization of its hospital subsidiaries. Through this reorganization, which will take effect on January 1st of 2019, Maine Health is combining all of its main subsidiary hospitals. Combined, the merged subsidiaries will also take the name Maine Health. And they're notifying us and going forward, this starts January 1st. You may see some correspondence from us and remittance under the Maine Health, but otherwise, the reorganization should have no day-to-day impact on contractual relationships with your company. Sincerely, Miriam Leonard, Chief Operating Officer. Thank you. Any questions on that? We can make that copy available to you at the front desk. Old business. Let's start first with the contract with Shane McDougal as a potential agent based upon our workshop discussions earlier. I need a motion.
Well, I'd make a motion to send that contract to legal for opinion and revisions. And then we'll vote on a final product.
All right, if you're in agreement, I need a second.
Second.
Thinking, wait a minute.
Any questions? Comments? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, 3 opposed, 2 in favor. I need a motion to approve the contract pending legal. I make a motion that we approve the contract that was presented to us pending legal review from our lawyer.
Second.
Questions? Yep.
I thought John had made changes,
No, he suggested changes.
suggested
No,
changes.
there-
Suggested changes. Cindy's right, it needs to go to legal.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only difference between the two motions is that I'd like to see it, once it's approved by the legal, to be approved then,
Well, that's not what you're doing though. You're approving it now.
I thought that's what she had just said.
pending legal. Want to chime in?
It doesn't need another vote is what you're saying after, it doesn't need approval.
I think you should wait, Steve, I think you should wait, probably have the lawyer give his opinion first, then bring it up again. I don't think that's critical to,
Well, it's not gonna be the same document if he changes something, that's the
right,
point.
that's the
Yeah,
point.
that was my,
Correct.
that was,
So,
Tell you what, if you guys feel that that's suitable, then I'll pull my motion and You pull your second, say again?
I was just asking if there's any time constraints.
No, that's on the other one. Right? That's on,
No time constraints.
No, about time constraint?
not on that one, but on the other motion that we have to make.
The workshop
About the
aspect, yeah,
contract.
we'll get to
Yes.
that.
Strain.
So do you want me to make my motion again?
Sure.
Well, we have a motion and a second, so we need to deal with this.
We,
Would you like to amend your motion?
I can amend my motion.
Because then it would be the same as the
Yeah,
motion.
Yeah, but we have a motion on the floor that has
I
been made and
understand that.
seconded, so
Yeah.
it has to be dealt with.
Yep, all in favor of my motion?
Oh, you're gonna amend your motion before we.
Well, no,
Vote on
we'll
it.
vote this motion down, then we're done. We'll move to the next
Yeah,
one.
but if you just amend it
Then we don't have to vote
to
it
the
again.
right wording, we don't have to go through this all again.
Amend my motion to send this document to legal.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Yes, Mr. Borgard.
Is that this contract of a dollar amount that it needs to be bid out?
No, this is a contract that was proposed to us.
Right, but whenever the town enters into a contract for a certain amount of money, do they have to?
When we request a bid process, that's how that works. This was proposed to us.
I guess we can ask if, Steve, if it would be,
Excuse me?
I guess we could ask Steve Langsdorf if we would be required to do that. I mean, if we're,
We enter into contractual arrangements every day. We just did that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times when something was brought to us. We looked at the review process. We identified what we are going to do and not going to do. I don't see this as anything different.
no, well, those folks are asking for, you know, it's their own money, it's their own organization. This is a service to the town, I guess is
And we
what
don't
the
have a
point
dollar
is.
amount.
I'm sorry?
We don't have a dollar amount, because if he can't get any extra, then he doesn't get paid.
That's correct. They all know that. Everybody in this board knows exactly how this was read. I'm just trying to identify for Mr. Beauregard how this came to us without going into the whole workshop, which I'm not going to do. Everybody had an opportunity to be here at 5. Yes, Mark?
So if I understood this process, no vote's gonna take place till after it's been reviewed by legal?
Correct.
As far as assigning the contract to anyone?
Correct.
That'll
Correct.
be done at a future meeting?
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. MPI grant. Need a motion. This grant is, this motion is to move forward with the MPI grant. Why don't you go ahead and give a brief, well, Cindy, you know what it is, go ahead.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Well, you dominated most of the meeting, you gotta have all of this down pat by now.
That was about the contract. So basically what was discussed was the improvements to Loon Lake Road from the school to the airport. We had applied for a Northern Borders grant this year, and we were denied because we weren't shovel-ready.
She's not only doing a good job, you're getting all the catchphrases in.
And DOT let us know that other funds had opened up as well in 2019, where there was a project slated for 2019 that has been pushed off to the future. So DOT let us know that if we wished to apply, they have a deadline of this Wednesday with which for us to notify them. So Rebecca, go ahead and chime in.
It's not to apply, we already applied for it, it's to accept it for 2019 or
Okay.
keep it in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why Daryl is here as well, because Daryl is part of looking into the funding options as well as, so there's a couple of other resources. And so that is, the motion is to accept funding from Maine DOT for 2019.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Do you have a second?
Say it in a second.
We have a move and a second here to my left. Any questions? No. Comments? All in favor? Thank you. Downtown revitalization plan update. I believe this will be the first time I've actually heard an update. What
Do
happened?
you have,
What's the
No,
matter?
I'll watch the video.
she was missing something, so I was just trying
I
to
was
slow
missing the whole
the
motion because she was explaining what was going on, and then all of a sudden
Oh.
it became a motion, and it,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
wasn't writing at that point. That's okay, I can watch it.
No, I think it's fine. We can,
Start after shovel ready.
No, with Rebecca's help, I petered out the end of my sentence and segued into a motion.
It was a motion to move forward with the MPI grant for 2019.
Yeah.
that was pretty slick too, I must admit.
Sorry,
Caught me by
Trish, I'll be more
surprise.
mindful next time.
Thank you.
I'm trying to write the paragraph.
And I thought somebody was passing out here the way you were swinging your arm, Tony. Daryl, if you'd be kind enough, Daryl Sterling is here to talk about downtown revitalization plan update.
I'd be happy to. The draft plan's been on the website for several days now, and we're getting more comments in. It's a working document, so feel free to click on the site and add your comments or contact me. The third public presentation will be at the Rangeley Region High School on Wednesday, December 5th, from 6 to 8 p.m. And how this process is working, I just got the request from Jeff Preble, Wright Pierce, make sure the selectmen submit their comments that they would like to, that you want to have. So this form, that would be great. And he's hoping before the December 5th meeting, so maybe by the December 3rd selectmen's meeting, some comments that you want to see added, or, your input on the plan. So that would be very helpful. We're also factoring in the main Connects, the Rangeley Connects, survey work that's been done. So there's a lot of work getting this plan ready. And the plan is gonna have a new word. It's gonna be the Downtown Revitalization Action Plan. And the purpose for that is so that it's not a document that's gonna gather dust, but it's gonna be a working document where priorities will be set forth collectively, and then we'll flesh those out to say, here's the ones we want to see happen in the first couple of years, and then we go after the funding to do those things, and you'll start to see the community transform with climate for investment in our community. So a lot of good things happening, 2019, and so again, the December 5th meeting, hopefully it'll be well attended, and there'll be refreshments. I can't say which kind. I don't know. Oh, wait, can we do a vendor permit for the? Sorry. But, right. But anyway, it'll be a good meeting. This will be a really good plan because how this will work for the process. The state then, after we collectively put in the last comments on December 5th, before the end of the month in December, it'll be submitted to the Maine Department of Economic and Community Development, DECD. They'll give us their blessing, hopefully, or say you need to make an adjustment here or there. Then once that's done, we take it back to you folks in January, February for formal approval, and then we're ready to hit the engine, start rolling to line up funding and get some of these projects done. So that's exciting. I think it's more than just the downtown. It's Rangeley and Aquasic, but the rest of the community in Rangeley region will benefit from the investment happening, in our downtown, which includes a lot of, whether it's streetscapes and improvements of buildings, getting more investment in the town, hopefully some more jobs, and then be bolstering up the workforce. It includes a housing component. It's all there, so definitely take a look at that. And not my first rodeo. I've done a lot of these through the years in many communities in Maine and New York State. So this is one of the good steps that will allow Rangeley then to have other economic resources, such as tax increment finance and some other things that would really help business here.
Thank you. Have you given any consideration to holding it in other places other than the school?
I sort of deferred to the Rangeley Region Economic Opportunity Committee to where they want to hold it, but that's certainly a good suggestion. I mean, we have the December 5th one scheduled for the school, but if we need to change it, let's do it quickly.
Well, my point is, you're talking about downtown revitalization. It would be nice to embrace downtown.
In the
Maybe
downtown.
talk to the Rangeley Inn about doing it, or Saja has a new function room, or Moose Alley has split. I mean, there are a number of facilities.
That's a great idea.
And it might be nice to, you might find that those
better
locations
attended.
might be.
Will one of those facilities hold, say, 30 to 45 people?
Yes, I think all of them I just mentioned do.
All of them would.
Let's
And
do
they might
it.
be even willing to do appetizers or something too.
This is why we bring this up. This is great feedback. Are you okay if we need to make
It's
the
been
change?
advertised everywhere already.
It's been advertised.
Yeah, I'm just talking to him in the future, as you try to,
Yeah,
put your
yeah.
arms around this project.
All right. So what we'll do then, when we have the DCD gets the document at the end of December, then we do the January, February hoo-ha. Let's do that downtown. How's that sound?
That works.
All right, great suggestion, Steve, thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your, any questions for Daryl while you're all here?
What website is that? Can you find that on?
Right on the town website. Yep,
There's also a copy for those of you who can't get internet service, there's a copy of that book available up here at the town office too.
Yeah.
Yep, full of maps, interesting stuff. Thank you. Town Park Playground Equipment. John, tell us what you found.
Well, we gave you, out of the 900,000, all but $14,636.59 have been spent. So that's what remains to be able to purchase some playground. If you notice on this back page of that sheet, this was back in October of 2015, and it looks like it was broken down into 3 separate contracts, the third being the playground equipment, so. The first one was the Bethel Memorial Park entrance sidewalk and Central Park drainage, and the second one was the reconfiguration of Lake Street and the new beach front restroom facility. And that's pretty much where we stopped. The third one was playground equipment. The next sheet shows you, it's like a time schedule when all of these were supposed to be done, starting in 15. Looks like everything was pushed back at least a whole year. Because we just finished the, this summer down on the bathroom facility. And then from the beta group, different lakeside proposed improvements, shows different bathroom scenarios and different playground options, ranging from 62,000 to 85,000. And then this is the change in the project for the bathrooms and the realignment of the road, which was cut back from an original bid of 700-something thousand to 531,000. That shows you how that was all broke down. And pretty much everything we could find about it, and it looks like there's $14,000 left.
I'm gonna buy any
Thank you, John. Rebecca.
While Daryl, during our meeting earlier, he had mentioned possible funding sources for playground equipment.
yes, the Miracle Equipment, Eric Welzo, I know him very well, worked with him in several other communities with equipment, and if we have some money in the account, about 14 grand or so, and change,
Yeah, 14.
we can use that for some leverage and try to get whatever's needed to do the 60 or 70,000 range, which is what's needed, the, options 1, 2, or 3.
Well, we have some of that already.
We have some of it already.
Maybe
And-
50,000 would finish.
And we might have a little money left over from the boat ramp project at Lakeside as well, so I'm on the case, I'll be happy to look at that over the winter to see what we can do for playground equipment for next spring.
Good,
Get some grant supplemental monies.
thank you. This material is available,
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I would,
go ahead.
Larry,
I missed you, Larry.
I know that Mark's question a few weeks ago about the 50,000, we raised it, appropriated that. So your indications show that we spent 34 or 36,000,
Yeah. We spent 11,000,
and we have 14 left.
yeah, the 11,000 wasn't spent from this account. It was just to replace what was taken out, because we had to remove
But we
everything.
raised it, appropriated 50 grand.
We did, we did. David made a motion, and in 2016, it was right, because we've got an overview of a revision of the project here in our books as well, phase 1 and phase 2, and the playground was slated for 74,000.
So am I hearing that the townspeople agreed to spend $50,000 for playground equipment if you spent it somewhere else?
No, it was supposed to come out of the $900,000 park bond.
It was, but we raised 50.
We didn't raise 50.
You sure? A couple years ago.
We've had Rebecca look into this.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't raise.
We
no.
raised money for Aquasic Playground.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that might be my confusion.
yeah, the
Yeah,
aquatic
Kevin,
playground came first,
Mark's
right?
fear the other day that money had been lost
No.
or misallocated.
Yeah, just,
Okay, what I was gonna say is, good point, Larry, thank you. What I was gonna say is this material is available for anybody to peruse. I'll even give you my copy for a period of time if you need to look at it over the weekend. What I'd like to do, if it's okay with the board, is to, urge Daryl to move forward with his concepts, before summertime and maybe get to us, I would say, 1st of February, so we're
Yep.
ready to rock and roll towards summer.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And then we'll be able to come back with a definitive cost of, a definitive amount of money we'll have available, and then find a vendor that can give us some playground equipment for, maybe it'd be a good thing to have you negotiate this one. You're gonna get us good swing set or something.
I'm good with teeter totters.
There you go.
No, but I can help negotiate that too, because I know how to maximize the project.
I was just kidding with you.
Oh. You're playing with me, okay.
It's actually, yeah. So we good with that? Everybody good with that?
sounds good.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Marijuana moratorium discussion. Discussion is exactly what we're gonna have. We're gonna start to my right. I know I'm looking at you, but you're on my left. You got anything you wanna bring up, Dave? On the,
We've got this memo here, Steve.
I know, I have the memo. Go ahead, Cindy, you've initiated most of this.
Well,
So-
just, we have a voter-approved moratorium from June of 2018. Moratorium went into effect, I think, June 13th. It's, the state law allows for 180 days for a moratorium to be effective, and this moratorium expires on December 9th, 2018, and we have yet to have any public hearings to gather public input, so
So
the
with that,
suggestion is to extend it another 180 days.
so what I'd like to do then with this, if it's okay with the board, is that our next meeting at 5 o'clock, we'll hold a public hearing to discuss the extension. We only get one more extension for a
Right.
moratorium on this particular item. And so there'll be a public hearing at 5 o'clock on December 3rd, correct?
Yeah.
December 3rd, well, we'll be talking about this and all of its nuances. This, again, this document is ready for anybody to look at. If you're all set with that? I don't need a motion on that. Yeah, public hearing. Any questions on it? Yes.
I don't know how the law is stated, but I do believe when we had the vote for the moratorium, it was kind of a moot point because the state of Maine won't allow anybody to do anything for over a year. So I think without the moratorium, the town's covered anyways because the state is not allowing those new laws to go into effect for a period of time. I'm not sure, I'd need you guys to look into the legal aspect of it, but
We have been, and just a brief comment on that. John can identify the time frame, but this is the inverse of what normal legislation is. We get to opt out on most legislation. This is the one where towns have to opt in.
right.
Okay, John, you want to talk about the,
Yeah, during the summer, the legislature passed the law for recreational, and they amended the medical marijuana law as well. The recreational one, it takes 90 days after the adjournment of the legislature for everything to take effect. I believe that's December 3rd, when recreational marijuana takes effect, but it has in there that the town has to opt in. So whether we need a moratorium or not, I guess it's hard, you probably need a legal opinion on that. But the town has sent in a proposed moratorium, a proposed ordinance for marijuana. And we haven't received back from the attorney's office yet, so maybe we'd be able to get that back from the attorney before the hearing, and you could decide whether that one is gonna be presented to the voters, or we want to do another moratorium until that time. So if you did a moratorium, then nothing could take place at least till the next town meeting in June. So you'd have to have a town meeting before you could either opt in or pass the ordinance that's already been submitted to the attorney.
What about MMA chiming in on this instead of calling our legal?
This moratorium also includes medical marijuana, which is in full force, and so that's the difference, is that people seem to just focus on the recreational, but this moratorium incorporates medical because of, so.
Because of what?
Medical marijuana doesn't require you to opt in as a town.
So.
Correct.
So basically, you know, restricting any caregiver medical storefronts at this point, until there can be, you know, either an ordinance adopted, that's where the protection exists with this moratorium.
Just one more point. It says in the statute, extension is by the selectmen. You don't have to go back to another town meeting. And they can extend the moratorium in compliance with subsection 2 after notice and hearing.
Only one time.
Huh?
Only one time.
Only one time for an extension. And subsection 2 says, before the selectmen can do it, they have the problem giving rise to the need for the moratorium still exists, and reasonable progress is being made to alleviate the problem giving rise to the need for the moratorium. So, first time we didn't have an ordinance, now we do, but we still don't have it back yet.
Yeah, and there haven't been any public hearings or feedback on that either.
Right, so this, it could still take some time. It might be worthwhile to extend this.
Okay, thank you, John.
180 days.
You had a question?
If it would be helpful, we went through this in the town of Richmond, and we went through this whole moratorium process and how we did our zoning. I'd be happy to share the template, we'll give that to John, if that, you think that would be helpful.
Yeah, why reinvent the wheel? Bring it up, let's look at it. All right.
We heard a couple of towns testify at the MMA convention.
Yeah.
Cindy was there, I was there, Tom was there.
It's very interesting.
Right.
So they had different templates for how they dealt with it.
Good, thank you. Any other comments?
I'm gonna take off. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thanks.
Take care, Shane, drive safe.
Next up, wind tower ordinance, new business. We have a draft in front of us for standards for commercial wind energy facilities prepared by John Maloney, senior planner with AvCog. It is lengthy, 20, 35 pages, yeah, 35 pages long. I'm assuming that the board has managed to stay awake through all of this and understand all the legalese and have hundreds of questions that are based upon knowledge, experience, and legal acumen.
Of course.
Go ahead, Shelley.
So I have a question. With the extent of this, I know that the ordinance committee has done a lot of that work. It would be actually really nice if something was maybe presented. I don't know, I'm just trying to think. Because one of the feedbacks from the economic development thing was that I've heard a couple of times that Rangeley sometimes is not always business friendly. And I said, so what is the biggest challenge that you have? And they tell us that it is actually ordinances. And some of them, I know that we're in the process of trying to change some of those. But they just said, be careful, because then one of the thing is like, so within 2 stories, when I read on part of it, so does that mean that the tower that's on top of Town and Lake, does that mean that that's not acceptable? And what does that mean for the windmill that's down for the church? What is that,
That's a private, we're talking about commercial.
okay.
So, and actually, there's no place in Rangeley that they would ever put one. All the hills around here don't belong in Rangeley, they're in the plantations and wherever, so. We knew that when we put this together, but
Okay.
still.
Okay.
They suggested, MMA suggested we have.
Is there a wind tower on the Town Lake Motel?
No, there's So there's a tower on top of it? Is that,
Antenna.
thank you.
Yeah. This is
Well, I
the-
don't know what it is, I mean, it's this big thing that stands up, it doesn't look like an antenna that I'm used to that spreads out like a old TV antenna.
Antennas are exempt.
Okay, thank you.
And it's under 35 feet high.
Has this been reviewed by legal?
That's what is before you, send it to legal.
Okay,
Authorize it.
before we go any further, I mean, there's a bunch of gobbledygook in here that, you know,
Garbage.
Is it necessary?
But
well,
it starts
you know,
below
it's
35
one
feet
thing,
high.
I read through a couple of documents we talked about before our meeting, and I had a completely different impression than you did, and when we talked about it, both of us went, yeah, it could be looked at, so it's important that they review it before, and then I agree with Shelley, I think a presentation needs to be made relative to this thing and how it impacts Rangeley, where it's gonna be applicable, why, and what are the parameters by which we're gonna have this ordinance. Because I don't think cellular towers are anything to do with wind towers. Generation yesterday.
And the telephone pole is 50 feet tall. So it's, the telephone pole is above the height restrictions that are on the wind tower.
Right, right. So there's a lot of ramifications. You all agree with that? Send this off to legal, take a peek at it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, AdCog drafted it, so, but yeah, it'd be nice.
Again, those of you in the audience who are interested in this particular ordinance, it will be made available to you at the front desk, please. There's 35 pages of material, I guarantee you after 15, the only person in the room that will be awake reading it has insomnia. It is boring. But here it is. Okay, town manager report, department head updates. We have updates from Tom Lillis. Busy season. He's got a number of permits still out. We have fire rescue. I have to, Tiger, I've never seen this before and didn't even hear about it. Saddleback Inn DOT worker crushed and run over. Did he make it? I'm serious, I read that and I went, man, I didn't hear about that.
When that happened?
It happened, you didn't read your,
Either a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday.
on
I was in Rangeley, I know that.
11/6, November 6th. So we have quite a lengthy document here from the fire department, they've been busy. Police chief, appreciate it, any comments on any of that?
We need to vote on the sending the thing to legal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Rewind.
vote to send it to legal, I need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we send the commercial wind tower ordinance to legal.
Draft.
Second.
Okay. Moved and seconded, you mean draft ordinance, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Moved and seconded, questions, comments, all in favor? Thank you. Calendar for the CMMA, this training, elected official workshop, December 4th, 2018. No, excuse me, what date is that?
6.
Yeah, the 5th, no, excuse me. And you're gonna be, anybody able to go to that? Have an opportunity to get out of here then and go to that? It's available to you if you wanna go. Date and locations, Bethel is December 6th, December 18th in Augusta, and also on the 18th, a video conference from Caribou. I'm sorry? Next up is December 4th, Senator Collins will be here, or her staff will be here at the town office. If December 4th works, it says here, I assume that works, we're doing it then? And they're here for a couple hours, 1 hour, excuse me, 10 to 11. On December 4th, good time to come in and speak to, I assume, is Ryan Angelo coming? Yeah, Ryan Angelo will be here.
And that starts at what time?
It starts at 10 o'clock, goes to
10 to
11.
11.
Just want to put it in my phone.
10 to 11. This is what you'll see posted in there, back of the page.
Yeah.
Yeah. Under old business,
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mark?
Back to the MMA training, I was just curious, have any of the board members received training, elected office training? Has anyone been to it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was here in, Rangeley in 2017.
17, yeah, that's right.
So does that mean you went to it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we all went,
We
and the
all-
staff,
You all went to it?
yeah.
And the staff, yeah.
I think it's just Steve, you're due for the training, aren't you?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But they also offer it online too.
Say again, Charlie, you?
It's an online course as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And they give you all a binder with all the rules in it and stuff like that?
Well, they don't give you a full-fledged binder, you know, they hand you out a folder, and, you know, there's some key materials that, key points that they review. I mean, we have the MMA, big handbook as a
The
separate.
manual?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
Which
given
we
to
all
you.
have.
And is that what the training does, goes through that manual and addresses all the different sections?
I don't think it goes through every
I
section.
think it's
Um,
specific to something, one of the.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely get the, you know, FOIA certification, in that training, executive session, just kind of the nuts and bolts. But, yeah,
How to
you,
conduct your meetings and notices and all
Let me
that?
read it to you, Mark. It is available for you to peruse at your leisure. Frequently asked questions: what are our rights, duties as officials? Can we hold municipal office? Which of our meetings are open to the public? Must we have an agenda and take minutes, etc.? Workshop materials. There's an opportunity to call down to get these materials if you need more. They haven't been given them, which everybody on this board has. Again, it talks about locations, and it also gets you on a website here if you want to do it online. So that is available to all municipal officers, not only Board of Selectmen, but Planning Board and others as well. Yep.
Well, thank you. I was just curious.
No,
if
it's a good
anyone had
question.
received training, because I think it probably would help keep us out of legal problems.
Yeah. You had a question?
I did, it was calendar related. I just wanted to follow up. I know a couple of meetings ago, there was a request for town meeting / ordinance public hearing calendar from the town clerk. Do you have that available yet?
As far as what?
The calendar for the schedule? I know that a couple meetings ago, somebody requested it of you, so I didn't know.
They were talking about the marijuana ordinance and all that.
Right.
We don't have anything back from legal yet.
Okay, so the calendar for the town meeting and everything, the deadlines prior to that?
No.
Thank you.
Yep. You did get the next Selectmen's meeting, and we start off with a public hearing.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. We got through some other business, FAA closeout of grant 3-23-0041, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Need a motion.
No, I think it's just information that they've done.
No, you gotta, we talked about this earlier. We gotta approve this, correct, and move it forward?
No, that was
No?
the,
Okay.
the DOT grant. This is just a notice that they
Closed it out.
closed it out, they found everything was done well, fine. And this was the grant for the environmental assessment.
This is sincerely Gail Luttrell, Deputy Director of Airport Division. This notice of grant closure is based on the following conditions having been met. 1, all work included in the project description has been satisfactorily completed. 2, there are no outstanding grant special conditions. 3, all project costs reimbursed by FAA under this grant have been determined to be reasonable, eligible, and allowable. And 4, the sponsor has complied with all terms and conditions of the grant agreement. Final payment has been made. Please be advised that in accordance with the federal regulation 49, etc., you are required to retain all supporting project documentation for a minimum of 3 years, sincerely. That's available if people want to look at that. Yeah, we've done that. Any select board communications need to be discussed? Hearing none. I need a motion to move into executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to move an executive session pursuant to MSRA Title I, Chapter 13, Subchapter 1, Subsection 405, Personnel, Subsection 4056A.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night, everybody.
You too.
See you later.
Maybe I won't be able to set